Hi everyone, this is the Find Your Fit PowerPoint presentation. My name is Eduardo Vasquez.
And I'm Api Lofi.
And in this presentation, we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about helping, find your fit at the different colleges and see what we can help you out with the future.
Have you heard of the idea that there's no such thing as a bad question? Well, here are a couple questions, actually 7, that you can ask yourself when you're trying to find that right fit. Who am I as a person or a student? Some people know themselves well, but most of the time our feelings, motivations, and desires can be a bit of a mystery to us. Number 2 talks about what do I hope to gain from my college education. And so you're going to spend 2 to 4 years in that academic environment. What are some things that you hope to gain? Think about at least 4 things, or write down 4 things that you can gain from this new college environment. Some people hope to gain better people skills, exposure to multicultural activities. Another possibility is the ability to work in high pressure situations, or just that ability to improve on their analytical or problem solving skills. Just that ability to critical think. There's several things that you can choose to want to gain from your college education. What are some things that you hope to gain? The third and fourth thing kind of mesh together. It says, in what academic setting will I learn best, and what kind of learner am I? Do you know what kind of learner you are? Do you know your preferred learning style? Are you an auditory learner? And auditory learners are individuals who will succeed in this presentation because it's a lot of speaking or commentary going on. It's that auditory language format that they appreciate. And then a visual learner may also appreciate this presentation as well because they thrive on pictures and diagrams. Visual learners learn best when information is presented in a written language format, or, like I was mentioning, in this PowerPoint, in diagrams and pictures. And the other type of learner is a tactile or kinesthetic learner. And these are individuals who thrive in hands-on learning settings. And so just in terms of your learning style or your preferred learning style, you have to understand what kind of learner you are. The next bullet talks about what majors and careers are well suited for me. And this one can be situated or understood through different assessment tests that you can take online. What are my strengths and weaknesses? As you are looking at yourself and diving deep into what is the best fit for you, it's a good idea to understand what are some of your strengths and weaknesses, and hopefully that college that you're going to attend can strengthen those weaknesses, and any of the strengths that you do have provide more insight and more abilities to grow for both areas. And then what are you passionate about? Sometimes passion is hard to pinpoint, especially if you're going through different life changes. But when you're looking at passions, you got to be true to yourself and understanding that if a passion, career, or job, or is something that you're looking into, is it allowing you to empower others or help others and help yourself? And another thing that you want to look about what you're passionate about is just being confident in yourself and making that decision to look into a career or that school and hoping that it's going to drive you closer to your goals and dreams in life. So these are just those 7 questions that are going to be asked, or that you can ask yourself when you're trying to decide what is the right fit for you.
College is about growing, learning, and changing, and discovering things about yourself and about the college, so that